Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today, let's talk about narcissism. There's a lot of people who I think have been recent subscribers, and even for people who know about narcissism, have been following my channel and probably other channels, rightfully so, you should, for a while. I think sometimes it's important to go back and regroup and talk about the basics a little bit for all of us. What is a narcissist? I'm going to go into what a narcissist is and really the two primary types of narcissists that you're going to encounter in this world and what makes them different than normal people. Way different. So first of all, a narcissist, that word comes from the Greek tale of Narcissus. And he was basically a man who was obsessed with himself, which is what most people think when they hear the word narcissist. This is where the basic story comes from. So he was this hunter, and he was out one day, and he's hunting, and he comes across a pool of water. And he looks in the pool, and he sees his reflection. This changed his life. Because before that, he was a handsome man. People adored him. Men did, women did. But he could never find the thing he was looking for. He could never find that absolutely flawless, perfect person without blemish that would never let him down, that would fill what was basically this void within himself. So when he finds his reflection in the pool, he becomes obsessed with it and sees how beautiful and wonderful he is, and he realizes, I finally found perfection. It was me. Ta-da. And as the tale has it, he stuck around that pool kind of admiring himself until he expired. Well, that's where we get the term narcissist, from Narcissus. Makes sense, right? So that tells us that on a basic level, a narcissist is somebody who's completely self-obsessed and self-absorbed. They are in love with themselves. But when we say they're in love with themselves, that is not, as I always want to point out, that does not mean love in the biblical sense that we're commanded to have for each other, that God has for us. Love, when the narcissist loves themselves, it just means they are completely self-centered and self-absorbed. And they're the only one who ultimately matters at all in the world. Everybody else, basically, people point this out, it's true. It's like they're in their own movie. Everything they do, they almost look at themselves in third person. And they're almost watching this movie unfold, and they are the center, they're the main character, and everybody else is just this transient, sort of temporary sub-character that ultimately serves the main character, which is them. Everybody's viewed that way. Disposable. You can just write that character out of their lives anytime they want. And I heard this verbatim when the narcissist tells the truth occasionally. The one that I was with said, I quote, people are disposable. And she means it, and they mean it. There's not a person on this earth that is not replaceable. Everyone is replaceable. Even that super high quality, amazing, wonderful person, and they may never find another one of those. I doubt they will. But the point is, in their minds, everybody is replaceable. Because they're the only ones that matter. So, there's two main types of narcissists that you'll deal with regularly. There are others. There are many classifications. It depends on how far down the road and the path you are. Also, just what variety of narcissist you are. There are people that are called malignant narcissists. Basically, they're really far down the path to the point where they may be sociopaths, psychopaths. But these are just mental, clinical diagnoses. This is not getting to the root of the problem. Is that all of these people, however you diagnose them, they're just filthy, corrupt, and evil. Yeah, that manifests mentally, but it's a spiritual problem that manifests mentally and manifests in every other way. So malignant narcissists can get very violent, dangerous, people that can do wild, extreme things. Go and trash your house. They might make threats. They might pull weapons on you. They might beat and abuse, scream, yell, punch, push, do all manner of evil, wicked things like that. But what you're primarily going to deal with in this world is the covert narcissist and the overt narcissist, or what is often called grandiose. So I'll take the latter first. The grandiose narcissist, that is what we probably traditionally think of people do as narcissists. These are the ones who, when they walk into the room, you know that they're arrogant. They're haughty. They're full of pride. They are full of themselves. They think they're better than everyone. They probably have to do a whole lot of the talking. You can tell that just by their demeanor, their body language, they think they're studs. Man or woman. And it's mostly men with the overt variety. It's mostly men. My uncle is a great example. Of course, not going to mention a name, but he's an uncle. I have many. And you know for the second you meet that guy, and everybody I've ever talked to that's known him says, oh man, is he arrogant. Walks into the room, chest puffed out, just thinks he's a stud. Condescending. Can be surface level nice, just barely surface level, but loves to embarrass people. Loves to make jokes about them, put down their appearance, demasculate them. He's obsessed with doing this stuff. He goes woman to woman to woman like all the grandiose do. They're never faithful to anyone. They always have people on the side at all times. Always. But you will know the grandiose or the overt narcissist quickly. At least if you know what you're looking for. You at least know on a basic level how arrogant and haughty they are. They have to be in control. They pull no punches about how special they think they are. They can do really ruthless, mean things, very callous. Take you or leave you, don't care. Their relationships with the people they're with generally are very just superficial, and you can tell they just don't give a rip. They don't care if that relationship lives or dies. They're just visibly, quickly and visibly that kind of person. You can spot them before you even know what narcissism is. But once you get the knowledge, I've encountered a lot of people that in 2 seconds you pinpoint, there's a grandiose, there's an overt narcissist right there, because they have to be center of attention. They're very arrogant. They don't often shut up. They're smug. They just have this very smug, dripping with confidence, cockiness, more than that, cockiness look to them. So generally, you can pick up on those people. Then there's the covert narcissist. I think this is the one that gets ignored more because they're not as obvious. Covert means secretive. They're secretly a narcissist. For this reason, I actually think these people are the most devastating because you don't see them coming. They're small. They don't show up on the radar. In fact, they really do what they can to just blend in. They're really dangerous because they can fake things like empathy. They pick up on how they don't have empathy and true love and all of that within them. They have that void like narcissists. So they fake things really well, though. I've seen this in action. Someone goes through a traumatic experience. They're telling the narcissist about this experience they had with a child and how this child is sick or maybe dying. And the narcissist will sit there and just feign empathy. Oh, that's awful. What are you going to do? Well, the poor guy. 100% fake. 125% fake. There's nothing in them for that, but they've picked up on it. So the point is, most people who have conversations with the covert narcissist has no idea that they're anything other than a really nice, genuine person. And the covert narcissist is really good at pretending to be a good person. They'll take others for a ride if they need a ride. Take them to a hospital. Take them to a visit. They'll pick them up stuff if they're sick at times. Not if they're the main partner because they don't want you to be sick, but if it's just a loose connection, kind of a friend, or early in a relationship, They're masters at breadcrumbing, which means they're going to just give you these little bursts of fake love and empathy and buy you a gift. Hey, honey, I picked you up a pair of shoes. Do you like these? And man, you think that's awesome at the time. Like, this person's really thoughtful. They came over and made me dinner. This whole weekend, they were so kind and so nice to me. But all you ever get is that little snippet. That little brief period of time after the early phases. So that is kind of in a nutshell what a covert narcissist is. They're secretive. They're sly. They don't come out and tell you anything. Matter of fact, even if you're in a relationship with one, they are the least transparent people on earth. They won't communicate with you. If you're trying to have a serious conversation about the direction of your relationship, that is not going to happen. If you're looking for closure on a particular issue, hey, why were you talking to this guy? Who was this? You're going to get spun in circles and you're never going to get answers. And if you bring it up later down the road, hey, you never told me, who was this guy? You always bring this up. Why do you keep bringing this up? Because it's not resolved. You'll never have anything resolved with a covert narcissist. They'll never give you closure about anything. They'll never communicate with you about anything. You're never going to get more than a half-truth, a partial truth, a little snippet. You can beg with them to have an honest, sincere, deep conversation, but it is never going to lead, if they even have one at all, it's never going to lead to a satisfying conclusion. So the covert narcissist is so dangerous because you don't know what they are. And as a matter of fact, it usually takes months to start to see anything, and usually longer than that to really come to understand how dark and evil this person is. So treacherous. I mean, they're the genuine Trojan horse, the covert narcissist. They come in and you think they're a gift to your life. And once they come in, that thing is crawling with enemy warriors that come out and attack you. The overt narcissist, the grandiose, is simpler to detect. You know from the beginning that they're haughty and arrogant and rude and self-absorbed. And really, it's even more on you if you get into a relationship with one of those people, because they never really pulled punches about it. And they are also important distinction. The covert narcissist is going to do everything they can to hide their secrets. They don't want anyone to know anything. If you go into a store with them and you're talking just a little too loudly for their liking about anything, they're going to shush you. People are listening. People might have heard you. They don't want to go in public with you because they're scared that their appearance of being single will disappear. They'll walk out ahead of you if you're someplace so that they look single. If you're engaged or married, they will often not wear their wedding bands or rings, or they'll hide them. If they take pictures with you, they'll hide the wedding band or scoot far enough away from you that they can crop you out of the picture. That's a popular one. So they don't want anyone to know anything about them. Their whole life is one giant secret. Alternatively, the overt narcissist is more the type to throw fits in public, to care a little less about public appearance in certain ways. They're the kind, like I shared experience on this, that might be enraged and be up in a hotel room and sit down on a chair, and the chair breaks, and they stand up, and they pick the chair up, and they go, this thing, and toss it off the top of a building, the hotel, and watch it shatter on the floor. They're more open about how they do things. The covert narcissist is more secretive about how they do things. So I think the covert narcissist is more difficult to detect for sure. And I think they're more damaging because it's like that anaconda snake that you think you're just holding, and before you know it, they're so wrapped around you that you can't get out. And I've heard people say this about narcissists I know, coverts, and I was in the same boat. It's very difficult to get away from them. You'll hear people say, I'd like to think I was never going to get away from that guy or that girl. I'd like to never thought I was going to get away. Because they just slowly suffocate you, and by the time you understand at all what's going on, you can be pretty trapped. You guys might be pregnant, or engaged, or married, or living together, or some combination, before you even understand anything about who they really are. Man, that's dangerous. The covert's going to tell you a little more up front about who they are. Commonalities, there's a million commonalities between the two, so I'm not going to mention everything, but all of these narcissists have in common superiority. They do think that they're better than everybody, but in reality, it's because they're so insecure, actually, that they hate themselves, so they have to project this superiority. They're going to treat you like you're stupid. They're not going to be consistent with their behavior at all. It will be a roller coaster ride. It'll be high, low, up, down. You don't ever know what to expect with that person. You walk on eggshells. You're afraid to go to the grocery store and pick out the wrong stuff because of what the ramifications might be when you get home. Are they going to make fun of me? Are they going to just, I went and got something for them, a special thing for them, and I came home. Hey, honey, look what okay. Anyway, they're back on their phone. Are you going to get met with silent treatment, where they don't talk to you for hours or days? You just don't ever know. The commonalities, man, the instability of the relationship is a major one. These relationships are not built on any kind of stable ground at all. They are chaotic. They are all over the place. It is high. It is low. They're all in on the relationship for a couple days. Then they're completely out. They all feel like there's 1 foot in and 1 foot out. That's universal. You're never going to feel like you're actually in a relationship with one of these people. You're always going to know there's something off, that they don't feel invested because they're not invested. And that goes to the thing of trusting your gut. If it feels off, if it feels like the person's not in on the friendship, romantic relationship, that's because they're not in on it. Narcissists are never all in. They're never going to put all their eggs in one basket. They're never going to be committed to any one person, ever. They're never going to allow themselves, because they're not going to allow themselves to get burned. They don't trust themselves, and so therefore they don't trust anybody else. This is why they all cheat if they can, partially because they want to make sure that they've covered themselves. They know they're cheaters and they're liars and deceivers, and so they assume that everyone else is too. If they're in a relationship, even if the most trustworthy person on God's green earth, they believe that you're cheating and lying and manipulating because they're doing it. This is why I heard, when I finally ended things, it's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust myself. Yeah, that's accurate. She knew and they know that they're cheaters, liars, deceivers, and so they project that onto you, but they also assume that you have to be doing those things because they are. Everything, and that's another thing, they all project. Everything they accuse you of doing, they are doing. I mean, this is a wicked world of stuff, guys. And I know I'm talking about a lot of different pieces and parts, but I wanted to go over a little bit today about what narcissism is and what the basic things they do are. So you know the story of Narcissus. Now you know that there's generally two major types. You're going to have the covert and the overt, or some call them the grandiose. You're going to have all these different threads of practices that they do. And the bottom line is every one of them has a gaping hole where their heart's supposed to be. They are endlessly pursuing something that doesn't exist, which is the perfect person, the cure, the perfect relationship. This man or woman that's never going to let me down in any way. They're scared to death of abandonment, so they abandon. They don't trust themselves, so they don't trust you. They think you're cheating, so they're going to be cheating. They're going to beat you to the punch, just so in case anything ever happens, they have one up on you. Oh, you were talking to another woman? I was talking to other guys the whole time. Lots of them, actually. Lots of them. I've got backups for my backups. constant mind games, gaslighting, confusion. They are the masters of confusion. So, to kind of pull this back to a base level, you're going to know if you're dealing with a narcissist because of their dishonesty, the fact that you don't feel like they're invested, that they're never all in on anything, they have a superiority, they're going to put you down, they are very insecure. And this translates into a lot of wicked behavior. This is why these folks destroy lives. They destroy the lives of their kids, their friends, certainly their romantic partners, and everybody else. They're that whirlwind of evil that and sucks everything in. And the only thing you can do is get out of it, because they will destroy you. You won't change the narcissist, but they will change you. So I hope that some of this makes sense to you guys of what really narcissism is, what some of the basic practices, how you can tell one from a covert from an overt, how you can tell one that's grandiose in nature, one that's more secretive, shy about it, kind of shy about it, but that's not always the case. It's just that they're secretive. You've got to dig and burrow in to actually see what these people are like. And sooner or later, they all drop their mask. The covert narcissist is wearing a mask from day one, and it can take months, many months sometimes, to start to see through that. The grandiose narcissist is going to show you who they are a little faster, and in more obvious ways, I think. So anyway, hope you guys liked this, enjoy it. Just wanted to touch on the basics for some of the new viewers and some of the old viewers, that people who know this, just to kind of come back to earth, come back to the ground level and say, okay, what are these people? Why are they different than normal people? So I hope this makes some sense of things. So I'll have another video here out in a few days. If you have additional comments or things that you'd like the audience to know, or that you have questions about, drop them below. Appreciate everybody who has subscribed. Again, it's not about numbers for me. I don't really care about that. It's just that if this helps one person, it's worth it. If this helps 5 people, it's more than worth it. I don't care. I just want to try to pass this along as I understand it, because it's a spiritual battle that we're fighting. And these people are absolutely all over the planet, believe me, growing every day. So, all right, guys, hope you're all doing well. Thanks for watching. Till next time, God bless.